All right, so welcome again, folks. This is the second episode of our technology session, third out of second. First, we had a WhatsApp session that was very, very well received by all of you. And as Shakun said, that time we had questions from folks saying, where is the Android coverage on that? Because I only have iPhone, so I showed everything from iPhone side, and folks with Android were kind of left, in the dark. They had to figure out on by themselves. But this particular session is dedicated to mobile phones, not an application. That's why we thought have a person like Ram on board to talk about the similar feature that I'm going to drive on an Android side. So I'll quickly give the other housekeeping rules, not per se, but like mute yourself always. Put your questions in the chat window and we'll answer that by grouping it together. Another thing is the way we will drive this session is around 4 or 5 different categories of mobile phone usage, which is health, accessibility, organizing your phone, productivity, and some fun items also all along. But our main goal will be to help you as much as possible in this 1 hour around the major needs that you have, which is health, accessibility, productivity, making your life much easier. All right, so let's go ahead and I will start the first topic, which is the most talked about, which is the medical ID setup, setting up and using it. And that should be, in my opinion, topmost concern at your stage of life. It is for me already. So I can already imagine it will be paramount for all of you. The way we will do it, I'll drive the discussion by showing iPhone side first. Immediately, I'll hand it over to Ram, who will show the same topic, how he's doing on Android. When I say Android, his world also again limited to Android Samsung phones, which is the lion's share in the Android market. We understand there are a ton of other Android phones, and it's really hard to address all of the manufacturers' version of Android. So this will be the majority of the folks in Android world, and some will be again feeling like they have different way of addressing it, but that can be addressed separately. So having said that, I'll start sharing my screen. Just like last time, I'll share my mobile phone screen, and I'll walk you through our first topic, which is setting up of medical ID. Hopefully you can see my mobile phone lock screen right now.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay. So medical ID can be set up in your, you can unlock your phone and simply type health. In the search, this heart icon app will show up. When you tap on it, you will get a summary, you'll get to edit stuff and ton of features here. Don't get overwhelmed by that. You just have to remember to tap on your profile picture here, which is on the right corner here. That's my profile picture. So when I tap it, this is where I can set my health details on iPhone. So the medical ID, especially the main topic, is on the second one right here. So when I click here, I can edit all my information, which is, if you have not done it, maybe it will prompt you to add it. Since I have it, I can edit it by clicking in the edit here on the right corner top. And it will allow me to add or delete information that I would like to have it accessible to folks. Okay, so I'll close it right now, but right now you can see my birth date. I'm an organ donor. I have allowed the sharing for emergency calls on lock screen, which is very important should something happen to us and our phone is locked, which is always true. That EMT guy or health professional helping us out there should be able to know if there is a condition. For me, you can already see here that it's diabetic. My blood group is O positive. They should know it. My height, my weight, general things, and whom to contact in case they need to let someone know. So I've added Varsha, my wife, my son, and a friend, a third person also. You need to have a third or fourth person also there, because what if that unfortunate situation is encompassing entire family? They should be able to contact somebody else also outside family. So have someone else as a trusted, very close friend who call you as extended family to be here. In fact, that reminds me, I need to add a couple of more just in case. Okay, so far so clear? Just somebody raise the thumb. All okay? All good. Fantastic. So then it allows you, I'll go edit mode again to show you here. Then it will ask you emergency access, whether you want to show this information on the emergency access. I have turned it on here. When I turn this on, this will be accessible to someone if my phone is locked, and I'll show you how it is. And it is also shared during the emergency call. So they, as they say, there is a lot more information, but I'm not going to show you, but you can read it later. But it is also shared at that time. And similarly, as I said, I can add one more emergency contact by clicking here, or any other things such as my primary language. I can add Marathi or English like that here, which I have not done, but I can. Then I can add medications. If I take certain medications, I can add here. I have not done it, but I can. Then if I have any allergies, I don't have, so I have not listed, but I should actually. That none, no allergies. And if there are any medical notes, such as if I am taken to certain procedure or whatever, if I'm allergic to certain things of medically, procedure wise, I should write it here. Right? Such as, for example, I'm taking blood thinners. They should know that if I'm doing that, for example. Right? So all that you can do inside this, and then allow it to be shown on the emergency access. If so far good, we'll move on, and I'll show you all how to actually see it. Okay, right now, okay. All right, so I assume it's okay. So how do you see that information? How someone sees that information if your phone is locked, which is like this? If this is the situation, and I'm right now talking about iPhone 8 onwards, but if before 8 there is a different thing. On before 8 there is a lock screen. If somebody tries to unlock, pushes the home button, then the password, numerical password shows up, and the emergency shows up on the bottom left on iPhone 8 and before. iPhone 8 Plus or after, it shows when you press the big button here and the small volume up button. So the big button here and the small volume up button simultaneously. So if I do that, it will prompt me to shut the phone down, SOS, that is save our soul, or emergency. Look at the screen now. I'm pressing both. There it is. So if you see now, I can slide to power off my phone, which is a normal thing. If I'm in some emergency, I can click this and 911 will call me back right away. It will connect me to 911, or someone other than me is seeing my phone. They will see my medical ID by sliding it. As usual, when I want, it is not showing.
Very good.
Right? When I really want to show you, it's not showing. But that's how they access it. Not screenshot.
We can see it, Prashant.
Right. But that's the way they can access it. That's the way they can access your medical information. I will also share with you all, which Nanda can forward you later on, a small 2-page PDF how to set it up as a text information.
Yeah.
Okay, that is for iPhone, and I'll hand it over to Ram now for explaining the same thing about Android phones.
Ram, unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, take it over, Ram.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Let me share my screen. All right. Let me know if you folks can see my screen. You should see my locked
I'm not seeing, actually, I'm seeing your Windows laptop background.
Oh, okay. That's weird. It says that I've shared my screen. Can you
You are
see it
viewing
now?
Neela's screen. Ite.
I
You
see the
can see it.
Zoom screen.
Oh, okay. All right, hold on. Let me do this. How about now?
No.
Mhm.
Can you
Yes,
see my
Prashant,
screen?
I can see it. I can
Okay.
see it.
No, but that's the Windows laptop screen, not the mobile screen that he's talking about.
Yeah.
No, the earlier one also I could see the phone.
Yeah, that was my phone,
That
iPhone.
was his. That was
Oh, that
Prashant.
your phone.
Hmm.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
was
All right.
Prashant's phone.
So Prashant, you guys cannot see my
Phone.
screen?
Yeah,
Okay.
we cannot see your phone. We see your Windows or whatever laptop you have, Windows laptop.
Yeah,
We see that, the desktop of that.
that's weird because
I got the screen that says Zoom and join the meeting
Correct,
again.
correct.
Yeah,
correct. That's the
right.
desktop.
That is the desktop.
Ram, what is on the dock of your laptop? Next to Zoom, what is it? Left side in your dock? The taskbar?
one second. Yeah,
a
it says I'm
taskbar?
sharing. Prashant,
Prashant, you stopped sharing yours, right, Prashant?
I have stopped sharing. I already stopped
yeah,
sharing.
but on yours, Prashant, if you might have to click on the share and say multiple participants can share.
No, I just stopped sharing. So
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. Okay, let me
if
let
it
me stop and
in
restart.
Zoom, it will either allow you or not allow you to share at all.
Now I'm seeing
But let me see.
your screen, Prashant, your Zoom screen.
That's my Zoom screen.
Yeah,
Oh,
because I stopped sharing and I'm seeing Neela's screen.
Yeah, it's Neela's screen. Viewing Neela's screen, ite, Prashant.
Yeah.
Join the
that?
meeting. I don't know.
Who's that? And actually, it's weird because
Yeah,
I'm also
because-
seeing that screen.
Yeah.
It's not my screen. That Windows laptop is. I'm on Mac.
It says Neela is
Join the
sharing.
meeting. I don't know.
On
Alright.
top,
Some
it says
is
Neela.
somebody else is sharing?
No,
Is
I
there a
just
Neela
saw.
here?
Is somebody else is sharing screen?
Is there
There
a
is
Neela here?
Neela Donde here. Neela Donde is here. So
Yeah, so folks, I just stopped Neela from sharing. So
Okay.
Maybe
okay,
that
you
was the
did.
thing.
Okay.
How come she was sharing though? I don't know.
I know.
Yeah.
She
Okay.
must
How
have
can-
just clicked on it instead of
By
But
clicking
she's
on
not
chat.
host, right? No, she's not host. She should not be.
No,
But
no,
anyway,
no.
She must have done it by accident.
By accident.
all
okay,
right.
let's
Now
go.
can you guys see my screen?
Perfect.
Yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. All right. So like Prashant was saying, I'll kind of show you how to set up the same medical ID. And then also show you how to access that from the lock screen. The Android world is slightly different because with Apple at least, the manufacturer also owns the OS, whereas in the Android world, the Android is the operating system, but there are a lot of manufacturers, right? Like Samsung, Google Pixel, etc. So I'm a Samsung, owner, and I've I think owned Samsung forever. So with medical ID, you go to your contacts, right? So how I do it is if I click on my phone, so here, this, this button, which is my phone button, it takes me to my contacts. And here I essentially click on my name, and you have all of the information which I have about me, but then also at the bottom, you'll see medical info and emergency contacts. So here, if you click on the medical info, very similar, things like the Apple, where you can talk about your allergies, your current medication, your blood type, and anything else you want to enter. To edit it is simple. You're clicking on that, crayon-like thing on the top right. And then, you can edit it. I'm just going to edit a little and then save it. And then that's it, right? And then same thing with the emergency contacts. You go here, you can add as many as you want. Right now I have my wife and 911. The key thing on this is all of these contacts you add, when you actually see it on the lock screen, in addition to calling, these contacts you can call even though your phone is locked, right? Anybody else you cannot, but any people you add here, you can call when the phone is locked. So I'll go back to, sort of locking my screen. So here, if you see, I have customized this to show, my unlock fingerprint, but then I have the phone on the bottom left and the camera on the bottom right. So for me, if I try to click on the phone, it's gonna bring up this number to ask me to enter the PIN or my fingerprint. And then here you have the emergency call button. So if you click on that, you can see all my emergency contacts come at the top. And now I can click on Sonia's name and call. And bottom left, you'll see the medical info icon. And then when you click on that, it shows me all my medical information and who my emergency contacts are. So yeah, so like Prashant said, right, as this is very useful, especially when like as a firefighter, I'm CPR certified as well. So, when I get to, let's say a motor vehicle accident, for example, right, and there's someone trapped in there, this becomes pretty important for us, right? So.
Excellent.
Cool. So
good, very
that
good
was
feature.
that on the Android.
Okay.
All right, now Prashant, let me stop sharing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now hopefully you can kick it off.
Right. And I just wanted, this is the most important topic of concern mostly for all, right? I would like all you to think about maybe few seconds to really pinpoint any bugging question in your mind and put it on the chat, and we'll address that after that. I will start moving into other features meanwhile, and that will give you a few seconds to think about and type, and keep typing even if I'm on some different topic. All right, so second topic I have on my mind is how to make accessibility options, how to tweak the accessibility options. So let me share my screen again and share. Hopefully you can see my screen, correct? All right.
Yeah.
So it's unlocked, and I'll say accessibility. And by the way, this is a simple thing that I'm going to address later, but instead of trying to going through umpteen times scroll up down, you just type in the search window that comes. When you're here, you will not see anything, but if you just pull it down, you're by your finger on an empty space. I'm right now showing actually on my phone how I do it. Literally pull down the screen here, and the search window pops up. On an empty space, if I pull down the screen, this thing pops up, and I simply say accessibility. I just type 3 letters, and the first thing came from here. And I.
Prashant, can you hold the phone closer to the screen, because
All right, we'll do that again. We'll do that again. So
your phone, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the phone. It's unlocked, but now I need to search accessibility. So here is an empty space somewhere here, right? I just pull it down like this. When I pull it down by finger, this search comes up, like you can see on screen.
Thank you.
And when I typed a couple of letters, the topmost option came as accessibility. It is very important to set up your phone as per your need. And there are quite a few options here that you can set up. I am first quickly going up and down to show, and then I'll quickly go through this. So certain things that you may or may not need based on your own needs, which is something like, for example, voiceover. So voiceover has quite a few options here, and you can ask the phone to talk where you are. It can be annoying if you really don't know and don't really need it, but that's where it allows you. Again, hundreds of options here probably, but I've tried it and I didn't like it much. But you can tweak the speaking rate at which it will talk you back, what kind of speech voice you want, and it actually talks about what's going on the app. Zoom is something I've used, and I still use it sometimes. So Zoom is to magnify the entire screen. As it says, when you enable this, and when you double tap 3 fingers to zoom, and you can drag 3 fingers to move around the screen. So let's do that quickly. So you can see that it's already zoomed so much. So if I double tap, it goes back. If I double tap, it is zoomed now. And then I'm moving fingers, my 3 fingers, like this, to move around the screen where I want. So sometimes if we are having trouble reading something, this allowing this zoom and tapping by 3 fingers will zoom the screen, and the same 3 fingers you can touch the screen and use it to move around the screen to read the text comfortably. Also allow the smart typing feature, which will allow you, which will learn how you type, and it will save you some time typing it. You can specify the zoom region also, the full screen or window zoom. Right now is kept a full screen. And you can specify maximum zoom level that is good for you at the bottom. That is if you have trouble seeing the things close to you. Magnifier on off is a really good tool, and I'll talk about that later on. But magnifier allows you, magnifier opens up an app itself by and then you can actually zoom into, let's say, product labels, directions on product and how to use it, dosage, etc., etc. I regularly use it to read the small print on medical pills and stuff like that, where they specify dosage in very small print. I quickly open up magnifier and say what it is. Or a product label has this very cryptic text, and I use that. You can configure your side buttons, the side buttons of the phone, how to react, how much to react, and what should it do when you press and hold. Right now I've turned it off, but you can say the classic voice control or the Siri in iPhone. I'm sure Android also has a similar thing. But that button, allowing it to do what you want, either Siri or a classic voice control, will allow you to speak to the phone by holding this big button. Now, certain things here, such as hearing devices. If you have connected hearing devices, right now it is searching or not. But then you can actually say, connect the hearing devices and configure the hearing aid compatibility. That will improve the audio quality when you are actually hearing the phone through the air. Then next on that, I don't know whether it is important, but sound recognition is something that you can turn off if you want. It will recognize certain sounds, water, sirens, police sirens, and loud noises, that if you want. I've tried one time, but I didn't like much. Another important thing, you might want to try Siri. And I extensively use it. I talk to Siri a lot. If you're Android, and Ram will explain, there is a similar way to do it on Android. So I always say, always listen to the phrase, "Hey Siri." So when I say that, it pops up a screen, small like a widget, and it listens to me. For example, let's try it out. If Siri listens to me, "Hey Siri," see that on the bottom? What is the weather today? etc., etc. So it told me weather, what's weather today. I can, I can customize my Siri to talk like accent what I want. That's little less important. Another accessibility shortcut is I have set it to magnifier. So configure and then triple click the side button to toggle this big button. I have set it to magnifier. So whenever I need magnifier, I just triple click this big button on the side. There are by the way, two sides of button. One is volume up down, and then there's a big button on the other side. I'm talking about that big button to do magnifier job for me. So whenever I have something I need to magnify, just triple tap, it will open the magnifier. 1, 2, 3, like this. And now you can see I can magnify like this while really taking up close view of that. And I can click and take a photo of it also. Comes really, really handy. So that's about major topics from accessibility. I would like Ram to take over and explain the accessibility features from Android.
Okay. All right, hopefully you can see my screen now. Yeah, so similar to the the iPhone, right? There's Samsung also has a ton of accessibility features. Of course, I haven't and do not use a lot of it, but you can essentially draw parallels to what Prashant was showing from the iPhone perspective. So similar to to the iPhone, it's all you can access it through the settings button. I have set it up such that I have my settings button at the bottom right. So once I click that, you'll get into your settings. And then when you scroll down, you have these settings under the accessibility umbrella. Like I said, similar to the Apple, you have everything around your talkback, how the phone talks back to you, your visual enhancements, which is all things like magnification, screen access, etc. Hearing, again, like Prashant was talking, very similar to that. And then there's also something called interaction and dexterity, is based on the size of the phone and the size of your hands, how do you want to interact with that phone, right? So for example, I have a Note, Samsung Note, so it's slightly bigger, but I can set it up to then do one-handed mode, right? So I can use one hand to then, essentially the screen becomes slightly smaller, and then it allows you to manage it using one hand. Oops, sorry. So let's see, yeah, and you can also, and I'll show you how to access this, like Prashant did using a search. So let me go to the visibility enhancements, and like you can see here, you have a lot of options, everything from your contrast to if you are for example colorblind, you have what they call color inversion, which make sure that you can actually be able to see things. But the key part I'll show is the magnification side. So there's this couple of options. One of it is called magnifier window. So if you click on that, you have a number of, how the magnification works. But essentially, you can set it up as a shortcut. So you'll see the first item there is a magnification window shortcut. And if I say yes to that, okay, I mean, you would normally not get this, which says turn off these functions, because I've set it up my way, so I have to turn that off. So once you turn it off, you should see this, right? Which is, this is a button which shows up at the bottom of the screen. So now if I do that and I go to the thing, you'll see at the bottom right, there's like a man, kind of button. So when you click on that, it now shows me the window, right? The magnification window, and I can move it around. Oh, I don't know why you guys cannot see it.
It probably shows the main focus and not the pop-ups.
Yeah, hold on one sec. Let me see if I can just share my desktop and if that will.
Yeah. While you do that, the request to all, actually, somebody's typing all around.
Somebody's typing. Can you please put yourself on mute?
You know what? That is my son. He's sitting right
Oh,
across.
sorry.
From me. Yeah, he's sitting right across from me and playing his video game. And got a very clicky
Sorry,
keyboard.
Ram.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because I looked at all the participants, everybody's mute, and I was like, who's typing that?
I know. Yeah.
Sorry,
Hey,
Ram.
Adi, can you like slow down your typing a little?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
But yeah, I don't know why you're not seeing it on the screen. So what I'll do is, let me just share, but then I'll see if I can show it to you.
Yeah, do that way.
You can see this small box, and and that box is the one which magnifies it, right? You can move it around, it like then magnifies. So even if I, let's say, go here, like for example, let me see if I can go to here, for example, right? I don't know if you can see it now, but that small window there, actually then magnifies it, and you can do that.
You can see on your phone, but not on the share screen. But
yeah, for some reason, I don't know why. Yeah. So the other thing is, okay, how do you access this? Using a similar function like the search, right, or spotlight as they call it in the Apple world. So I have, for me, like this is my home screen, but then when I swipe up, I get all my apps, and on the top you'll see there's like a search window. So this is very similar to like what Apple has in the form of Spotlight. And here you can type accessibility.
Actually, Ram, when you just search, it suggests you accessibility.
Right. That's because I had searched it before.
Cool. So more you search, it will start showing you the.
So right. And when you start typing, you can see, right, it provides you autocomplete, right below it. So you can type accessibility, and then it searches your entire phone, right? So it looks at like things like accessibility button. Those are the suggested searches, like to search beyond it. But then you'll see there's like a settings sort of gray bucket there, and it says search in app. Then you have Spotify. It searches within Spotify, and then it searches within your app store, or the equivalent of the app store, which is Google Play Store. And then at the bottom, you also have a thing called search with Google. Right? So the accessibility settings are in the app. So if you go here and you just click on the search, search within the app, within the settings app, it tells you what are all the accessibility things you can do, right? Which is all of this. And then you click on the accessibility, you will get back here. So same thing, if you go back, you can then, turn it off by, clicking this off button. You can increase the size of the window which shows up by going, plus here or minus as you want. You can also say, how much bigger that magnification would be, right? Like, so it's small, medium, large to make it a little easier. And then the rest of it are like slightly more advanced. It all depends on like, some of the apps which support it and some of the apps won't, right? Like, so when you're actually typing, on some apps, like, if those apps support it, then as you're typing, it shows you bigger letters, right? As you're typing. So outside of that, like, you could, main things, I mean, there are these things called advanced settings. If you go here, so right now I've set it up because I only have 3 buttons on my phone. So volume up, volume down, and an on off button, which they call the side button. So those are the only 3 buttons which I have on my phone. I don't have any other buttons on my phone. So right now I've set it up such that my side button and my volume up button, if I press that together, it'll get to the accessibility shortcut, right? So let me get up there. So like, for me, it's like, there's the side button here and then the volume up and down. And I press the volume up and side button together. Oops. It brings me to the accessibility, directly. And, so that way you could set it up, any which way, right? So like, for example, like that small button, the man kind of button, which shortcut, which you saw, you can actually set it up to like not, right now it's set up to do magnification, but you can set it up to do anything else, right? As well. And then same thing with like, volume up and down, right? Because, I can press the volume up and down button, together to then bring up any of these things. Cool. So that's, hopefully that gives a, quick overview of some of the accessibility features.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Ram. I learned few things actually.
Good, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, of course. All right. So I will.
There you go.
All right. So in fact, while talking on some other topics, we addressed some small other things, Ram, that are in the list.
Okay. Yeah.
Such as magnifier app, we already talked,
Right.
and how to use that in that other context. So next up, I will do one of the important things I feel for everyone, which is do not disturb, because we are constantly disturbed by something or other, right? Notifications that we saw in the WhatsApp session, also constantly pinging someone, some apps trying to take your attention, saying, this discount, that discount, this good for you, that good for you, somebody calling randomly to you. Lately, as you can see, the car service warranty calls are going rampant. Every day I get 2 or 3 calls, and they are talking about automated voice to go for car warranty. Something like this I always want to get rid of. How do I do it? So again, I'm searching by swiping down. Do not disturb. So do not disturb is a feature very handy. When you click on it, it will allow you to either do not disturb manually when you turn it on, or you just schedule it also, right? If you're in a meeting, you don't want to be disturbed in afternoon or some social gathering, family gathering, lunch, dinner, you can just turn it on. But you can actually schedule it. This is what I've scheduled it. Every day, 10:30 in the night to 7:30 in the morning, it's do not disturb. You call me in this time, it will go directly to voicemail. It doesn't even ring. And my lock screen is also dimmed so that the glare doesn't hurt me. And as you can see in the bottom here, it's always on the silence, not when unlocked. Always, whether it's locked or it's unlocked. This time comes, you can't reach to me. Period. There is an exception to that, which is favorites. So favorite says on my phone, you can see at the bottom, favorite. These guys are favorites. They will go through. if they call me. And the way you do it is, for example, on a contact, it says add to favorite over here. Then it will show in the favorite. These guys can go through when I add into favorite. So all of these guys only will go through. You can add important companies such as my security service and my fuel service that gives me oil. They need to call me, be able to call me at any time. It doesn't matter if they want to reach me. So you can configure people as well as company phone numbers in that, and then the do not disturb will work like a magic tree. All others simply go to voicemail. Okay, then this same feature is available in what is called on iPhone. What is the terminology for that? I just looked at it. Control center. So control center in iPhone is what when you swipe down 3 fingers. I'm now showing on my phone like this. It comes up like this. When I swipe down 3 fingers from top to bottom, this is called control center, and I'm going to address how to tweak it. But on this control center also, you can see this moon. That is also do not disturb. That will, if I press and hold, it will ask me how long. 1 year, until evening, until I leave the location, or I can schedule. So press and hold is another thing. But if I don't press and hold, just tap it, it is by default my a defined do not disturb, which is now 7:30 in the morning tomorrow. If I click it off, calls do not disturb is off till 10:30. So this is how I quickly control when I don't want to be disturbed. Actually, this is the good time right now. I don't want to be disturbed. So I can simply swipe down and say tap for 1 hour. Boom. For 1 hour, nobody can call me now, except the favorites, so that I can quietly give this presentation to you all. So Ram, take it over and let's see how it is handled in Android.
Cool. All right, let me go back to my screen. All right, hopefully you guys can see it.
Yep.
So again, right, do not disturb through settings. So I, go to my settings, and usually it's under the notification thing. And if you have like, the new, most of the new Samsung phones, they tell you most of the key settings, right on, on that panel itself. So here, if you see under notifications, you can see, status bar, do not disturb, etc. If you do not know where some setting is in all of these millions of settings you have on the phone, you can actually do a search and do, let's say, do not disturb, and it'll show you it's right here, and you can go directly to it, right? So like, like the iPhone, similar, right? Like you can schedule it, like, for when, you can add different schedules. You can also add exceptions to it. Right now I don't have any exceptions. Same like, the iPhone, right? If you click on the exceptions, you can say it's either all contacts, all calls, or contacts only, or favorites only, etc., right? Or none, right? Like as in like, nobody can call you at that time, right? Same thing with messages, right? Like, because when you get messages, you either get notifications on your screen, and or if you have it, set up such that it vibrates, or it like, gives you a ding, or like, whatever that, the sound is. All of that can also be, configured in a very similar way. And then the other way to do this is like, Prashant was talking about the control center, right? I mean, in Samsung, it's the notification center. So for me, if my phone is unlocked, I swipe down from the top, right? So it's not necessarily 3 fingers or 1 finger. For me, I have it just as swipe down from the top. So if you go top down, you will see all of these notifications umbrella, and in that all of the ones which I mostly use come up on the top, right? There are 6 things you can configure which comes up on the top by default. Now, so when you do it once, you see the 6. When you do it again on that on that window, you will see all of those notification settings, right? So you can see things like airplane mode, flashlight, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So then, here you can set up as a number of things, and when I go left or right, it toggles through like all of the notifications, things which I can set up. So here on my second screen, I have do not disturb, right? So if I click on that, it sets up by default my do not disturb, like same way as the iPhone. And then I unclick it, it gets back, right? And then, yeah, so there's a third way of accessing it, but, I think we'll talk about it, a little later, I think when we're talking about Siri and stuff, right? So that's another way to access it as well. And on the Samsung, well, I'll talk about it when I get to the Siri stuff. Yeah, so that's, mainly, that, and then, so same here, right? Like, like I said, you can add a schedule, give it a name, and then these you can enable or disable, right? So you could have like 5 schedules, but only 2 of them could be enabled, etc. Cool. Hopefully, that helps.
Very, very cool, Ram. Very cool.
All right, 1 second. Let me give back. Where's my stop share?
Got it. Got it. Thank you. All right. That was great. I found so many similarities between both phones. There are few items, but I'm looking at time. It's already 12:20, and we would like to have 15-20 minutes for Q&A. Shakun?
Yes, that
Okay.
should be.
So we still have about half an hour.
Yeah.
For going ahead, right? Okay. So then next thing I would like to quickly address while on the topic of the control center is to customize the control center. As you can see, I'm swiping down here, and I have like quite a few items here on this control center. When I got the phone, it wasn't the case, but I can customize. You can see so many options here. There is a flashlight, and there is a world timer, then there's a calculator, camera, bed, magnifier, and payment, and all that. So all that can be brought here based on your need. And the way you do it is, again, go to Spotlight and say Control Center, and you'll see a lot of options available here. Right now, I brought all this up here, and more I can do, but then the screen will be crowded. But all these more controls can be brought here. And right now, I've added flashlight, timer, calculator, camera, etc., to be shown in the control center. And these many I can add, such as I want to force a dark mode, I can add it there. And the way I use it is, if I want to say, like I should do not disturb, or put a car mode that I'm driving in a car, I don't want to be disturbed, I can simply say car mode. Boom, I'm not disturbed anymore. But again, I'll use that as a segue to the next topic, which is Siri. Most of these things actually should be able to talk to Siri and get it done. So I'm getting lazier and lazier every day. as I figure out what can I do with Siri, I lock my security system. I wake up with by just talking. If I have to set a timer or something, I just don't go and lock and find a timer. I say, hey Siri, start timer for 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes and counting.
There you go. So and then I can shut it down. But this is how I'm making life easier, so that, because as Ram mentioned, there are zillions of options in both sides of phones, and we can quickly get tired of searching also and then give up. So instead of giving up on making our life better, I would say be lazy. Use the Siri option. Yeah. I don't want to get bogged down and have my head cluttered with so many options and buttons and features, and they keep changing every year, by the way. They keep adding stuff, so it's easy to make our life using Siri. Use it extensively to find out also, such as, for example, the do not disturb. Also, I can talk to Siri and make it happen. Or sometimes I'm running low on battery, I simply say, hey Siri, set low power on.
Okay, I turn low power mode on.
That's it. So now my phone is on low power mode, so it saves battery. So I would say use whatever assistant you have extensively. And these are the 2-3 examples I show you, the way I use it. But there are quite a few. And I would like Ram also to showcase the counterpart of Siri on Android side.
All right. Okay, let me get back here. All right. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, right? Like Control Center is essentially notifications panel in in Android. So when you drop it down from the top, you get that, and then you drop it down one more, you get all of these. Now, if you scroll further, like there's a plus here, which says, okay, what else can you add, right? So you can add, I've added pretty much everything which I can add here. So, if there's anything else I can add, it's there. So the equivalent of Siri in the Samsung world is called Bixby, Bixby. And if you have a Google Pixel, it's most likely Google. Or Hey Google or Okay Google or whatever that is. With Samsung, you have to enable Bixby specifically, right? So you could do it in a couple of ways. One is, of course, through the settings. The other is on mine, I have set it up such that when I swipe swipe towards the right, it shows up an access which I have to say yes to, set up Bixby. Separately, once you have it, if you go to settings and you can search for Bixby here. Oops, it already came because I had asked for it. So if you search for Bixby, you'll have this app called Bixby where you can now go and set up Bixby. So similar to Siri, it is you talk to it by saying hey Bixby. So when you say it came up. All right, so I'll sort of go through it really quick, maybe ask it to do a calculation, and then I can talk through it a bit, right? So typically you'll say hey Bixby, what's 25 times 25?
The answer to 25 times 25
And then,
is 625.
Yeah, and then it shows, and then it also tells you which app it used, right? So you can go back to the calculator and then look at it that way. Now, so you could use it same thing, to set up do not disturb, right? Hey Bixby, set up do not disturb.
not disturb.
Right.
You can schedule when it turns off in the do not disturb settings.
So same thing, you know, now if you look at the top right by my, the time, you have a, sort of a small circle with a dash on it, which essentially says my do not disturb is on. And if you pull down from the notification settings, you'll also see it says system UI do not disturb turned on until I turn it off. Then you could that small arrow pointing down there, if you click on that, you can say, yes, I can turn it off now. Right? Or I could do, again, using Bixby to turn it off. So yeah, so just similar to Siri, right? I mean, you could use, oops. There you go. Similar to Siri, you could use Bixby for, searching in your phone, opening an app and, talking, essentially whatever you're doing with your fingers, you can do it with Bixby. Now, the only thing, and I'm not sure, Prashant, if this is an Apple or not, but when you're setting up Bixby for the first time, you'll have to train it to recognize your voice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you might have to do it 2 or 3 times before it recognizes your voice, and then it becomes normal after that.
Correct. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah. And as Shakun mentioned, when I show again now, right now, some folks really want to see how to set up Siri quickly.
Okay.
So I just walk them through quickly in the options where they can do it. And where is the phone? Oh, come on, quick time. I'm again seeing somebody else's or what? No. Yeah, got it. And so how do you set Siri? Is from, again, a spotlight simply, or apps here, simply say Siri, and it will come here. No, that's accessibility. I'm sorry. My bad. So again, here, Siri and search. So you'll have to say that, listen to Hey Siri, otherwise it won't. So it will be there, but you can do it 2 ways. Either press side button, which is that side button over here, press and hold, or you can simply say voice. That means that it will be always listening to you for that phrase. Whatever you say, it is listening. And in Apple, they are privacy oriented, so they will not store or share that whatever you speak or Siri is listening to anyone. It stays on your phone, it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, so enable that Siri, listen to Hey Siri, then it will come up. You can change the language and voice. I just out of my whim change it to in Indian English and Indian female voice. I'm used to listen to my wife, so I can only listen to a female voice. So said, why not set an Indian female voice, which is different than my wife. So jokes apart, but you can set it to whatever way you like. There are quite a few options, such as New Zealand in English, Singaporean, or UK, if you have fancy for that. Typically, people will do United States, and then once you change it, if you change a voice, you will have to train the Siri. It's very easy. It will prompt you on screen to say something. All you do is say that. So it listens to your own style of speaking and your voice, and both are combined to use to know that you are talking to it, not somebody else. Okay, it's a 4 or 5 questions that it will tell you to say repeatedly, say what's the weather, or play this thing or something like that. Simple tasks, and that way it will be able to listen to you very easily. So that was that. One nifty feature that was asked to me by Shakun specifically, which is the flashlight. Flashlight on newer phone is actually available on the touch screen. Where is it? Over here itself, on the lock screen. And I don't know whether you can see it or this thing is floating here. is left bottom is flashlight for me. I have not figured out whether I can tweak it, but I may be. So on a lock mode also, if I just press and hold, it will turn on flashlight like that. So I don't have to unlock phone, search for anything, tap on app, anything. Similarly, photos are also required often. So as you can see, the right side, right corner, bottom is the camera app, which again, press and hold, it will open up photo right away for me. So these are the two functions I use extensively on the lock screen. As you can see here, flash on the bottom left and photo on the bottom right. But probably it is different on the earlier models of the iPhone, and that setting I'll have to find out how to do it. If not, at least you can do in the control center, or simply talk to it. Hey Siri, open flashlight.
Oh, okay. That's
I
good.
turn flashlight on.
Boom, done. So you don't have to worry about now. I don't worry too much. I just say simply, when I train her, Siri listens to me and simply turn on the flashlight.
Yeah.
Right. So
Very good.
somebody was saying something.
No, I just tested that. It works.
Okay.
perfect. Very
Okay.
good.
Okay. Excellent. And I'll hand over for the same feature to Ram.
All right. So, oh shoot, what's my share? All right. So yeah. So very similar thing, right? Like the iPhone, when you drop it down from the top, you get to that notification setting. You drop down once more, and you have flashlight right there. So when again, similar, like when you click on that, it turns on the flashlight, turns it off. On the lock screen, I have it set up such that I have a phone here and a camera here. Same thing, right? Like if I press on the camera, come on up. Oh, sorry. So on this phone, it's like you press on the camera and then you move it to the left. So that way, it opens up the camera and you can, take a picture. Similarly here, right, you press on the phone and move it to the right, it allows you to call, but because it's locked, you can only make emergency calls, right? Now, I have set it up such that all of my notifications, I can do it on my lock phone, on my lock screen as well, right? So again, if you go top down, you'll see all of these notification settings which come up. You cannot change the settings, but you can enable, disable them, right? So same thing like here, right? You can, on the lock screen, going back again. So I'm on the lock screen, I do, top down, pull it down. I'll see my notification setting and I can turn my flashlight on, off. Same thing with do not disturb, right? I can turn my do not disturb on, off, right? So all of that, you could do it from your lock screen itself, right? But when you try to change it, it asks you for your password. Cool.
All right. So next topic on my mind, I'll actually, Ram, get two topics in one shot, so that because they are a little smaller. One is very little smaller topic.
Yeah.
And you can also bundle that in your, when you go on that. One is I'll show you how to share your location through chat message, and also organize your apps into widgets. So I'll show you two things together here. So let's go here, share the screen. All right. So first thing, it's a very cool little feature, which is, let's say I'm on chat, right? And I'm chatting with Shakun, let's say here. As you can see, we have been exchanging things about this thing. So let's say, or let's go somebody else that you don't know. Okay. So I'm talking to this person, let's say, and I wanted to tell this person that here is my current location. So I just need to do is I am at, and you can see the moment I do it, current location is prompted here. All of you can see, you can look at here, the current location, and all you do is tap here. Then it will show the current location. Let's not do it because I have fear that it might just send him. Let's do it to known person.
Yeah.
Like that. Actually, it is locating me, and I can actually hit here without doing anything.
Wow.
Yeah, my doubt was really that person would have got my current location for no reason.
I got it. I got
exactly.
the
I
text.
had that fear that person shouldn't have got it.
Yeah.
So I sent it to you, Shakun.
Yeah.
So yeah, this way you can quickly send somebody your location and they can tap it direction and they will reach to you within no time or whatever the time is required. Next feature I would like to show you is something called widgets. Very handy feature.
This is
Yeah.
Sandhya. I'm sorry, I missed it. I'm here, but I don't know. I'm texting it, but it didn't come. How do I set up the location?
I actually didn't do anything. Maybe
Oh.
sharing location should be part of that.
Oh, okay. So I have to go to the settings and change the to
Yeah,
share the location. I
I'm
get
doing
it.
a share my location.
Okay, okay. All right, thank you.
So, yeah, I just have a share my location on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But by default, it is not shared to all. It is shared to family only in the Find My app. But in this particular case, I can share with someone I want to. Okay.
But if I'm not sharing my location, but does it come up to the favorites? If I'm talking to my son, it's my favorite. It should come up. Yeah. No.
Instead, then you can do in the keep Find My app, which is, let's do quickly. Do a Find My app, which is this. And you can see here, I am sharing, these two folks are sharing with me, I'm sharing with them.
Okay.
So I can anytime, tap on one of the name and find where they are.
Okay.
And actually
Okay.
it is shown on the map also.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So my son, when he starts traveling to home, I can track him literally every few minutes. And
Okay.
right now I'm not going into it, but there are certain things where I can say, tell me when he's near to my house.
Okay. All right. Thank
so
you.
that also I can do. Right. But this I found a feature like sending through text accidentally. I thought it should come handy to you guys. Next one is widgets. Have someone like one of you guys have done widgets like this? Some folks might have.
Yep.
Right. This comes really handy if you have not done it. And you can do it by going to an empty screen and just press and hold. So I'm going to press and hold in this empty spot here. So it will get me a plus sign on the top left. And there are widgets. Widgets are the quick access to certain functionality that you need often, such as quick Gmail actions, search in Google, a big bold block, watch, or a smart stack, which phone decides how to do it for. Let's do a smart stack. And what type of stack I want, like this, or I like this, or I like this, right? Something like this. So I can, let's say, do this, add, and it just added here on the top. So with this, I got a calendar and the most recent event right here. When I don't want it, I can simply tap and say remove stack. Boom, it's come back. Now over here you might see that what is this? So this is this is telling me my phone battery, watch battery, etc., etc. All the batteries of my devices are right here. So it tells me how I'm doing with that. Right? It is not tappable, it is not accessible. It just tells me in terms of percentage. So something like that. You can set up your own widgets, like a stock widget over here, Google search, my playlist on Spotify, temperatures, the calories and exercise burn. You can come up with whatever you want, right? So I would like Ram to show both features, the location sharing in text message as well as widgets. I think both are very nicely done on Android also.
Yep. All right, let's see. All right, so going back here, so location sharing, right? Android does it slightly differently, right? Because Android is the operating system is from Google, but then the phone manufacturers have their own versions of some of these apps. What I use, because I'm used to the Samsung world, is I use the Samsung SMS app more than I use the Google apps like Google Messages. So both have like two different ways of doing it. In the Samsung SMS app, it's typically not, the location sharing is not usually enabled through the SMS app, but more from Google Maps, right? So when you go to Google Maps, it automatically sort of picks you where you are, right? So this is my home, and that blue dot shows where you are. And if you click on that blue dot, if you just like hold it pressed, at the bottom it shows you like things like directions, etc. But then it also has this thing called share. And if you click on share, it pulls up your contacts and it pulls up the apps which you can use to share that location with. So for me, if I go to so that you can either use like this one on the top here is all email addresses, and then the bottom is all apps. So you can click here and you can type a phone number. So like, for example, if I pick Sonia's number, and then here you can add a message here, and then just send it, right? So it'll open up your SMS, and it shows you with the Google Maps. It doesn't show you a picture, but it shows you like the location and with the Google Maps and where you are. And then if you hit send, it should send that out to whoever you're typing it to. If you have Google Messages, with Google Messages, you can do very similar to what Prashant did, right? Like on the SMS screen, when you go there, Google Messages should show you a shortcut which says, okay, what's your location? Again, for all of this to work, you need to have location sharing enabled. And then once you do that, like with the Google Messages, you can click it directly on the SMS, messages side, and then send it. So that's that, right? And then widgets, right? So similar, similar to what Apple has, right? So that in the top, if you see like that where it says West Windsor Township, and it shows the weather Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's a widget which I have set up. So similarly, if you long press, as they call it, so you press your any of the background, right? Not on the specifically on any of those apps. If you long press on the background, you'll see something like this, which comes up on Android. Now, this is a few things, right? So one is, so I have two screens set up where I can go, back and forth. So that's this, right? This is my home screen. My next screen, I have all of these apps, which I have set up, but I can add more screens, to my, to my window, right? So what that does is essentially, if you go back, it's these, right? I now only have two screens set up, so I can go, I can go right and I see my second screen. If I have a third screen set up, it'll show up as well. And I'll show you how to do that. So if I long press it, there's only two screens here. Now I can say, okay, I added a third screen. I just clicked the plus and it added a third screen. Now, if I go back, you can see I have 1, 2, and a third screen here. And here I could like add shortcuts to apps and everything else. So similarly, to the Android, right? Like to the Apple, you in the bottom, you have this thing called widgets. And if you click on that, you have a number of widgets already, sort of all of the apps which have widgets capability will show up, right? So for example, you can see calendar, and in calendar, you'll see like the number 3 at the bottom, right? Which means that there are 3 types of widget you can drop with the calendar. So if you click on that, you'll see like, one widget is this, right? It says the countdown, right? And it says 2 cross 1, which essentially means that it takes, 2 things across and 1 thing, width on your screen. Then you have this, which is a list. So it tells you like your list of all your calendar items for today. And then the third option is to show the entire month, right? So let's say you take one of this, right? And I can add this to my widget, and this is how it shows up, right? So on my screen now, I added a third screen, and on that third screen, I have my widget here, right? Now you can click on the widget. If I, again, long press on the widget, right, I can, sort of resize it, however, which way I want. I can also remove it. So I do that. I can say remove, and I have settings here, which goes to the settings of that widget, right? So if I go here, it tells me like, do I need a white background? Do I need a black background? And, whatever else the settings which that particular widget has, right? So yeah, so similarly, because it's Google, you can have your things like your Google Drive in there, your Chrome, your Chrome, like list of Chrome tabs which are open. Same as the Apple, like there's this thing called device care, which shows you, your memory, your battery life, and things like that. And then like here, for example, I have Netflix app. So even Netflix has a widget where you can show, what, your Netflix profile window, up in your screen. I use this phone for my work as well, and therefore I have Outlook. So same thing here, right? Like, Outlook, it tells me, what my, what Outlook calls a focused inbox, which is my, inbox. And it show, I can put that up on screen as well, so that I don't necessarily have to click on Outlook to see, what my day looks like. Right? Yeah, so that's so pretty much it. And like, one thing with this one also is that when you do a long press, as you can see, you can set up your wallpaper. Samsung has something called themes, which essentially is a theme is essentially wallpaper plus like how your buttons look and plus your color scheme. So all of that, can be set up. So here, for example, if I pick a theme, you can download new themes, you can actually buy themes and install it, etc., which then changes the look and feel of your entire, setup.
Awesome.
Cool. So yeah, so that is that in the Android world.
Who's playing music?
Hopefully not me.
I don't know. Who's
Champa,
somebody's
can you be on mute, please? Champa, can you be okay? All right, we are okay.
All right. So we have a few minutes for
Yeah,
some.
we have a few
Yeah.
questions.
Hello,
So thank you, Prashant. Thank you, Ram. Very
Yeah,
educational. It was good. We covered both iPhone and Android.
Yeah.
So I'll alternate between Prashant and Ram. So Prashant, a quick question. From Sureka, she wants to know how to rotate the screen.
Rotate the screen. Oh, I know what she has done. She has probably locked the orientation. So locking the orientation, which is this button here, you have locked it. It is pressed. That's why your phone cannot rotate. So the way you do it, swipe 3 buttons down, 3 fingers down. The control center will come and look at this. Oops. But you got the button, right? So this button is a lock orientation. If you press, it will stay like that. It won't be able to react to this.
Thank you. Ram, next question for you. Neela has a question. What can we delete in Android to increase the storage?
Oh, okay. So
Open-ended.
yeah, I was gonna say like you can pretty much delete everything.
Everything.
But I can, show you really quick what because I use this for my work as well. Mine is very I've set it up very quote unquote minimalistically. But if you go into settings, and then you can come down and usually you'll have a storage settings here. So if you don't find it right away, you can do the exact same thing of like clicking on search and searching for storage. So here you'll see it says battery and device care and storage. So when you look at that, you'll see all of what your phone has used, right? And from here, you can then go into each of these, and it'll take you there, and then you can select and delete, right? So what I typically do is, sometimes I look at, like, for example, I have duplicate files, right? So I go and delete my duplicate files. I sometimes have like, some videos which are pretty large, right? So, those, for example, as long as you have, your pictures and videos saved elsewhere, you can go, delete those, right? And then here on storage, it also shows you all your, trash. So I would like look at it and say like, yeah, on the trash side, for example, here it says, all of there's like about 86 megabytes in trash from my pictures, which is the gallery. So if I go here, you can see all of the pictures which are in trash, and then you can go and say empty trash, and it'll empty it, right? So same thing with the messages, I go do that. So that way, you do it. And then it also shows you your apps which you don't use, right? So, it shows you all of these apps I have not used in, I think in a certain period of time, right? So you can go and look at these apps, and if you know that you're not going to use those apps, then, I would delete them as well, right? Yeah, so those are the things mainly you can do, and then you can go into advanced, which starts showing you each of these, split across all of these things. I can go to files. It shows you your folder structure. Then I can go individually and delete them, right? But that's what I do because, like, I've set it up in quote unquote advanced mode. But most of the time, what takes up space in your phone is, pictures and apps, right, which you don't use.
Okay. So now this next question is for both of you, Prashant and Ram. Can we use Siri or Bixby to make a phone call instead of physically dialing it?
Oh, yeah. Only thing is, the caveat there is it needs to recognize the name that you're saying, and the person might have different phone numbers in your phone, right? Like mobile 1, mobile 2, or office or whatever, right? Then Siri will not know really, probably. If you just say call, somebody and their name, and the name has 3 phones, then it will be confused which one. It will prompt you which one, and then you have to again tap it anyway, but it can do it. Short answer is
Yeah, same thing with Bixby too, right? Like, exactly the same one, right? You can say like, hey, Bixby,
To connect TV.
call Sonia Gavas.
How to connect iPhone to TV.
So,
Find a contact
yeah,
with
so
Sonia
you have to
Gavas.
like, it has to also like recognize the name too, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it can do it, but yeah.
Okay, the next question for both of you again, how to send a Zoom invitation via WhatsApp?
Whoa, didn't we do that last time? Okay, if you have Zoom app on your phone and if you want to send it, you can open the Zoom app. There's a copy invite link, which essentially copies that link into your memory of the phone, and simply go to WhatsApp and press and hold. It will prompt you for paste, basically.
They are taking question one by one.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you, Prashant.
Yeah.
Now, again, one more for you, Prashant. How to set up a SmartCast to connect iPhone to television?
Smartcast, typically, I have seen that. Let me see quickly on here. If I can do it quickly. Let's say Smartcast options. Let's say this is my music going on right now. And it allows me, if I click here, it will allow me. And this is the screen. This is app-based screen, but you can see that it is Google Speaker is there. This is AirPlay or Bluetooth. I can click one of it and it will try to find out what is in my Wi-Fi network. So this is right now available. So I can throw it on Roku and it will play in my home system actually. Similarly for YouTube, it prompts me to actually cast it. I don't use actually any cast. I would suggest on Android phones, use the Google's casting device. What is it called? I forgot the name of it. But
Yeah,
you can do that.
Google Home.
Chromecast.
Chromecast. You can use
Chromecast.
that little Chromecast,
works.
hook up to your TV or wherever. It will show up, and then you can do that. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is where
here.
I think that the Samsung world dominates, for lack of better words. So if you have a Samsung TV and I have a Samsung phone, I can show you guys really quick on my screen, but I do have a Samsung TV, but my Samsung TV is a little old. But the newer TVs, so on the Android, if you have a Samsung phone and a Samsung TV, when you drop down again the notification settings twice, and you go here, you have this thing called Smart View. And if you click on that, it picks up, oops, it's not showing you guys.
Yeah, the overlay doesn't show actually.
Right. So it shows you that, if you can see it, but it's looking for all the devices. And if you have a Samsung TV, like a smart TV, it shows up, and then you can actually click on it, and then you should be able to go directly and connect directly there, right? And then the same thing with doing music and everything else, right? So I have a Google Home at home, and I have Spotify here. So my, because it's Android, my Google Home and my Android phone, my Samsung phone are connected.
Yeah.
So I can actually tell Google Home to play my Spotify playlist, right?
Gotcha. Correct. I just wanted to add a quick thing on that. On Apple side is the Apple's similar ecosystem is what they call screen mirroring, which is available on that drop down. You can mirror. If you have Apple TV, it will work similarly natively, just like Samsung works within the devices. It will recognize that you have Apple TV and you will be able to cast your screen, audio, etc. But if you don't have that, then if you're talking already about any cast, that means you're using open source things, and it's a little bit challenging in that case.
So we are almost at the end. So I'm going to have one more question. Snehal cannot find Pixel.
No, she did, I think.
She did?
She is,
She asked again. So
oh, she did. Okay. I thought she said,
Pixel, she couldn't find app search on her Pixel.
App search on the Pixel.
Yeah.
Okay, I can look it up and send an email maybe, right? Because I haven't used the Pixel at all. So, but it should have it because it's exactly the same as
Yeah.
Okay.
It should be same.
All
yeah,
right.
exactly
And,
the same as Samsung.
I'll just do the last one. How do we retrieve information stored in iCloud?
Retrieve means what? You want to be on your phone?
Asawari, can you unmute yourself and clarify that? I guess she's not here.
Hi. Just want to know if I'm missing something from my phone and it is stored on iCloud, how do I retrieve that?
Oh, that should be always on your phone if you go iCloud, or you can access through web also. If you want, I can send you link. If you just do iCloud, the Files app will come. So the Files app should have all your storage. Like you can see here, there's a thing that we have stored here.
Okay.
Or similarly, you can go to web URL. I can probably ping that separately when I'm sharing the PDF.
Okay.
For setting up the medical device on iPhone. I can add to that saying this is how you go to web URL and log into your Apple ID. All your files will be shown on your laptop.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, and you can download.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
So
So
that's it.
we are
Thank
coming
you
up
very much.
to,
Thanks
we are
again,
coming up
Prashant
to
and
1
Ram.
o'clock time frame. So just to recap, Prashant and Ram, if you guys can just put together the medical help series setup, flashlight and camera, and location sharing, and maybe casting to TV. Some of these topics are maybe of big help to our
Say that again.
and
Medical.
then we can email those to them.
So you said medical Siri.
Medical help, emergency help, the Siri setup.
Siri or
Then
Bixby.
if they have the Siri setup, they can just talk to Siri and not know how to do go right.
Okay.
Then flashlight and camera, something we use a lot. Location setting. So when the wife is in ShopRite and husband is in whatever Costco, they can tell each other where they are.
Okay.
And then casting to TV, which was the last question. I think our members can really use that feature from the phone.
Got it.
And Mami, we can send it, Nanda can send it to the members.
Definitely. I'll create a PDF and send it over. It will be handy instead of going through this 1.5 hour video.
Yeah.
This quick summary will help you
as
guys
is
out.
evident, there is this is for everyone else. There's a lot of information. It's impossible to cover everything in just 1 hour.
Yeah.
So we will have one more of this. And so thank you, Prashant and Ram. And I think Ram, now you're stuck with MVClub55. Now you know what you're got yourself into.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you all. And we are coming up to 1 o'clock. So I think we'll wrap it up here.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks again. And we'll see you all soon. Stay safe.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.